Ambushing Ariel, Dragon Lords of Valdir, Book 4, by S. E. Smith. Narrated by David Brenin. Prologue. Ariel Hamm leaned down over the paper in front of her, studying the equations on it carefully. She bit her lip as she worked the problems. She wanted to get the rest of her work done so she could have some free time before bed. She was just finishing up the last one when a high-pitched scream broke the silence. Her head jerked up and her mouth opened to form a small O. She stared wide-eyed at the big man sitting across from her reading the newspaper before jumping out of her seat and taking off down the hallway. Henry Hamm shook his head and watched as his 6-year-old daughter took off like a bullet before releasing a sigh. He wondered what it was going to be this time. He made it to the door leading into the bathroom just as Anna Hamm came barreling through it, shaking. He opened his arms and wrapped them around his wife, who was mumbling curses under her breath. Glancing over his wife's head, he saw Ariel bending over into the bathtub. She lifted something out of it, gently cradling it in her arms. When she turned around, her big brown eyes were swimming with tears, and her little chin was trembling. It was not the look on her face that held Henry's attention, though. It was what was in her arms. The small brown creature was trying to burrow down against her tiny body. Ariel stared wide-eyed at her dad, waiting for his response. "It's all right, Anna. It's just a prairie dog pup," Henry said, soothing his hand down his wife's back. "It's not just a prairie dog pup, Henry Hamm," Anna said, glaring up at him. "It's a whole litter of prairie dog pups." "But, Mama, Ariel had to help them. Mr. Wilson plowed them up and was going to drown them. Ariel couldn't let them die," 5-year-old Carmen argued. "She had to take care of them. She's their mommy now." Anna looked over her shoulder at her oldest daughter. Ariel stood protectively in front of the old-fashioned bathtub filled with yapping prairie dog pups. She then turned her gaze on her youngest, standing defensively in front of Ariel. Shaking her head, she turned in her husband's arms and regarded both of her daughters in exasperation. Last week it had been turtles, the week before lizards, the week before that. Anna shook her head again more firmly. Ever since Ariel was old enough to walk, she was bringing home every stray creature she could find, and some that weren't even a stray, like the neighbors' cats, dogs, and chickens. The list went on and on. "She gets this from you, you know," Anna began, looking at her husband of 7 years over her shoulder in frustration. "I know," Henry said with a small smile. "I don't like animals in the house," Anna continued. "I know," Henry said, looking with a warning at Ariel when she started to protest. "I don't want any critters in my bathtub," Anna insisted firmly. "But where else is she going to put them?" Carmen asked, puzzled. "Under her bed is so full, and so is her—" Carmen stopped when Ariel bumped her with her elbow. "Be quiet," Ariel hissed out under her breath. "Under her bed?" Anna said, putting a hand to her throat. "Where else?" she asked, looking first at Ariel, whose eyes filled to overflowing again before turning a stern look on Carmen. "What else does she have in my house?" Anna asked, turning toward Ariel and Carmen's bedroom. "No!" Ariel wailed tearfully. "Mama, please, they need me." Henry decided he better help his wife. She was from the city and still had a fear of all the different critters that lived in the wilds of Wyoming, as she put it. Anna walked into her daughter's room and was about to get down on her hands and knees to look under the bed when Henry grabbed her around her plump waist. "You better let me," Henry said gruffly. Ariel watched as her dad got down reluctantly on his hands and knees and began pulling out the cardboard boxes she had been collecting. The shoe boxes were carefully labeled with a crayon drawing of each animal and had holes punched in the tops. Ariel watched in despair as her dad pulled all 6 shoe boxes out, opening each carefully. Her collection of lizards, frogs, and turtles was growing. Next, he pulled out 2 larger boxes. One
Sample complete. Ready to continue?